Welcome to the Woman Who Left podcast. There we go. Hello, Holly. Thank you
Hello.
for coming on to our Woman Who Left Talking Strong podcast today. If you want to just start by, I just usually get people just to introduce themselves a wee bit and give us a fun fact about you.
Ugh, a fun
I
fact
always
about me.
like
Well,
catching people out with that one.
I'm like, oh man, you're putting me on the spot already, and we just started. Um, you just introduced me. I'm Holly McRae. A fun fact about me: I like to dance.
Yeah. I'm very good
I don't
dance
say the
moves, they
fun fact
are.
because anybody who knows me kind of already knows that. But
So you are at the minute then you are the lightweight Arnold's world champion, and recently you competed there at OSG and
mhm.
you came third, I think it was, wasn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, I got third.
And you didn't compete in OSG last year, the year previous, did you? I
Yeah,
don't remember.
I did. I
Did
came fourth.
you came fourth? Ah, right, right.
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing you last time, but I wasn't really.
No,
I
I
was
don't think
watching
most
the
people
open.
really knew me back then.
Well, I knew about you, but I just don't remember. I just don't remember seeing you. But I was paying more attention to the opens that year, so I wanted to be Rebecca Roberts. I was watching her,
Yeah.
so I was paying attention to her that year. But you were also your previous lightweight under 64 world champ as well from OSG. Was that the year previous to that then?
What for what?
For the world you have that title as well, haven't you? No, am I wrong
No,
about that?
not at OSG. No,
No.
no,
Oh, I could have sworn
just
I'd seen
just
that
the
in your
Arnold, just the Arnold.
just the Arnold. Well,
Yeah,
Jesus, I've got my facts wrong then wherever I found that one.
that's okay. I will eventually be, so then we can just put that fact in there.
Yeah, yeah, we can put that in then the
Just
next one.
minor detail, minor detail.
Just a minor. The most recent one then you done was the OSG, so we'll start with that because the Arnold's was previous to that, wasn't it? That was March before.
Yeah.
So well, your car run was pretty good. Um, and it looked pretty cool. How did you prefer to run with a car on your back?
Um, as little as possible. So in 2019, I actually went under a yoke completely empty in training, and when I put it down, my whole back cracked, and I was on the floor.
Oh,
I was bedridden. So I suffer from scoliosis, which causes a whole lot of issues with my whole right side. So going under a yoke just completely compresses me. And that was just it for me. And so since then, I battled the yoke quite often. If I'm yoking in my program, I can't squat because it's
okay.
just too much compression consistently.
Yeah.
I don't go heavy if I don't have to on the yoke. I really try to listen to my body as much as possible, and I try to yoke as little as I can. So that car, finishing that car walk was a really big personal thing for me, I guess. It was a lot of fear, a lot of prep, and a lot of winning after all of the things that I had gone through to prep for that.
Yeah. It looked real. You know what? Like I didn't know that about your spine, and that you made that car walk look really easy, and that
It
was some amount of weight on that. Like it always looks easy, but when you're doing it, it never is.
Well, when I first started it and I picked it up and I started walking, I wasn't prepared for how well my body actually was going to do under that weight.
Yeah.
And you could tell my feet actually got ahead of me. My whole body was going faster than what my brain thought it could. And I didn't know what to do. And I lost brace in it. And that's when I dropped it. And so then I repicked and I went with it. I had no idea that that was about to happen. I was pretty sure that I was like, well, yoke's on the last day. I'm definitely not hitting anything. But
Yeah.
I guess I surprised myself.
And like on the first day, did you, I suppose everybody's plan on the first day is to make sure they get top 10. Did you believe that you would have been like, you did, well, hang on till I reword that. Um, do you go in fully confident that you know you're going to be like well above that top 10? Or do you go in like you would, like most people go in just to make sure that they do well in each of the events and then worry about where they place after? Or how do you face the day?
I don't want to say that I don't care, but I don't usually go into competitions going, well, I want first or I want this and I'm going to be unhappy with myself if I don't get it because that's not why I do it. I do it for other reasons. Obviously my main goal was to place top 10 again.
Mhm.
And then after that, but if I didn't place top 10 and still did well in what I wanted in every event, I would have been happy with myself. So I just kind of on it, I just was like, meh, let's have some fun. I'm in Florida, survived a hurricane. They're changing every event to try to make it happen. Nothing's the way it's supposed to be. So let's not die.
That's a good enough. That's a good enough
Right.
one to go
And
with.
at the end of the day, I was like, put in whatever work you can do, and the outcome is the outcome.
Yeah. And how long out before OSG do you start prepping for the comp?
I think if I'm not mistaken, I started like I usually do as soon as I get the events. So it's really based, I think the events were released before OSG like 16 weeks, which is a really long
Yeah.
prep. But usually roughly around then, I like to start the nutrition prep a lot longer because I usually sit a little bit over the weight and I try to just slowly cut down so I don't have to do some big cut beforehand.
Yeah.
So my nutrition usually I'll start a lot earlier than my actual training prep.
And what weight do you normally start around, like before your nutrition prep?
I think before OSG that summer I'd gotten up the highest I'd ever gotten kind of while competing, and I was like 151.
Oh, you work in pounds.
Um, yeah, and I
That's
don't do kilos. That's close to
I'll have to
72.
do
So I
quick
think it's like
maths. You're making me
70.
do maths. That's
I know, I
probably
think
what
it's
about
like
70
70,
kilos?
something like
Yeah.
69, 70 kilos. Um, and mostly it's because the summertime I usually take to kind of eat what I want. I have time with my friends, my family. Training usually takes the back seat because my son's a competitive soccer player, so I'm more invested in him. So I don't really put that much pressure on myself.
Yeah.
So I end up usually, you know, eating way too much pizza and probably drinking too much bourbon.
And so, like, would you ever go up a weight category? Because there isn't there a 73 kilo category now in OSG?
Yeah, I definitely say I would never take it out of the cards. As of right now, I'm quite happy with where I am.
Yeah.
I comfortably can sit in this weight class with my strength, and I still feel like I have so much more that I want to accomplish. But I feel like if I would accomplished all of that, then I mean, I always say that if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. So
Yeah.
if you're the strongest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Ah, yeah, I get
And
you.
the only way to learn and get better and be better is to then step it up.
Yeah. And
So
what
at least here in Canada, like Strongest Woman in Canada, we don't have weight classes.
yes, because I watched that one there. You were judging, you were one of the judges this year, weren't you?
Yeah, I got
Yeah.
hurt at Clash. I hurt my bicep, so I had to
Uh,
pull out of everything, hoping that OSG I would be okay by.
yeah.
So this year, hopefully, I will actually be able to compete. And I had competed the previous year. And so that's a nice way to kind of stack up where I am with all the other pro women.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And on the at OSG, what was your favorite event of the 2 days?
Circus dumbbell.
Circus dumbbell. Oh, yes, because you actually hold the Canadian record, isn't it? In the
I do.
circus dumbbell. Yes.
Yeah,
And
I
you
went after
also,
the world. I missed it this much.
oh no way. That was a clash, wasn't it? There was was that the clash that year you were going for the world record?
No, it was actually the same weekend of Strongest Women in Canada nationals and stuff. They had record breakers too.
Ah,
And then I'm scheduled to do another attempt in August in Ohio for the world record.
cool. Would love to see that. That'll be awesome. What is the current world record?
130.
That's in pounds too, isn't it? That's about
Sorry.
I know
I do not.
it's 130, that's about 55, 60.
Well, 141 is 64 kilos. So like, yeah,
Around
60,
then. Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah. And you also hold the Canadian log record as well.
I do.
What is your standing at the minute?
I think it was like 182.
Uh,
It was a long, it,
how
it
long
was
have
a
you
couple.
held that? Have you held that for quite a while then?
Yeah, I did it in Static Monsters. I got the log, and I also hold the 18-inch world record for the axle deadlift,
Yeah,
and I got those both.
yeah.
And I think that was 2021.
Oh, right. And
Yeah.
do you like prep differently for well, I suppose that's a full competition. So in your head you're just going you're going to win the competition and then
Yeah.
you prep did you prep any different for pulling a world record or do you just
No, not when it's something like that, because I wasn't going for the world record. I had actually already held it. And so
yeah.
I ended up beating my own record. And then I pulled 600 and I went for 660, which would have been the biggest pull of any woman
Mm-hmm.
of any weight class.
Yeah.
So then I tried that and I almost got it and I blacked out and let go. So I was more going for that than really thinking about the world record because
Yeah.
I already held it.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to see what my body was actually quite capable of and just really push the envelope and see.
And are you looking at pulling any other world records apart from the dumbbell, the circus dumbbell and that this year?
The same weekend of the circus dumbbell, I've also going for an 18-inch regular deadlift pull
Ah.
for the world record for that. I up until like a week ago, I thought it was an axle, and I was like, wait a sec, never mind.
Really fun. Um, yeah, what got you into doing then strong woman? I should have asked you that at the start of the questions. That's what I normally ask first, but we'll just do it
um,
back to front today.
I've always been into fitness. I was a competitive figure skater growing up. And then just like every other mom, usually, I gained a lot of weight with my daughter, went back to the gym to try to get skinny because that's what we all thought was what you're supposed to do. And then I had another child. And then I got back into the gym again after that, got a trainer. And then one of my buddies had told me about a competition that was happening here. It had a raised deadlift, a squat, and a barbell overhead press. And he's like, I think you'd be really good at this. I was like 110 pounds soaking wet, never squatted, never deadlifted, had no idea what overhead press was. I was like, you're insane. So I went to my trainer at the gym and, I asked, is this even something that's possible? And she ended up switching me to a strength trainer. And she said, well, let's train for it and see if we can. And so I did. I think it was like a 4 months or something. And after that first competition, that was it. I was hooked.
That was you hooked.
Yeah, I was hooked.
Class. And how long were you doing figure skating for? It's not something you get
12
too much over
years.
here. 12
Yeah,
years?
12 years. Yeah.
Wow. Were
So
you
I was
professional at that as well? 12 years you would probably have been a professional.
I think I had placed enough. I was on my way to nationals before I'd quit.
Yeah.
My mom was a figure skating coach. So as a baby, I would sleep in a cardboard box on the side of the boards. Like
Hmm.
I grew up in the arena. That's all I knew. I could skate before I could walk. So it was just kind of second nature for me. And then yeah, I had given that one up. Who knows? Maybe I could have made it pro.
So what's normally my next question? Where am I? Yes, can't wait. Oh, my head's away.
It's
Um,
okay.
it's on a like a 10-second delay because I went out last night and I haven't went out in about 6 months. So my head's just in a wee bit of a slow run today. We'll talk then about Arnold's. So Arnold's was in March last year, wasn't it?
It was, yeah,
March
at the
last year.
beginning of March.
Talk me through the events again. I slightly can't remember some of
Um,
them. Can you remember any of them? You're the one that won it. Come on.
there was a deadlift ladder, there was sandbag to wheelbarrow, there was a squat, Last Woman Standing Stone. And I feel like maybe like, oh, an axle, an overhead axle,
Oh
like a
yeah.
ladder axle.
Oh, that sandbag to wheelbarrow thing. I've seen so many people fuck that up so much by not putting the sandbags on properly, and they fell off. One of the girls, it fell off like just before the line, and she couldn't get it
Hmm.
picked up again to put back on. Oh my God. What were you like?
Oh, sandbag toss. That was the other one.
Oh, the
Yeah,
toss,
that was
yes.
the last.
I
Yes.
I quite I the sandbag toss one's a funny one because you either it can be it could just be a funny one. Funny one to watch. But the sandbag to the wheelbarrow, that was a good one. Definitely enjoyed that. How did you get on? How did you enjoy doing that one? How did you prep for that?
Um, we didn't have a wheelbarrow. So I think I just trained a like a trap bar.
Yeah.
I'm really, really good at sandbag pick and runs now. I overtrained those a couple years because I was really bad at them. So now I'm really quite good at them and I thoroughly enjoy it. So it was another wing it. I was really lucky. My coach at the time, Max, was there with me because Sam was competing. And Sam had never touched a wheelbarrow either. So Max during warm-ups was pretty good with Sam and I just kind of picking it a few times, showing us kind of what to do. And I mean, I'm pretty sure I looked like a drunk duck. Like the judge goes, "You don't have to go straight, you just have to cross the line." And so I don't think I ended up placing too bad on it or anything. Like I'm pretty sure I was, top five or something, but
Yeah.
it hurt the hand. I, ugh.
By the time you like, did you was there a strategy at all going into that one? Just cross the line, just pick them up and go with
This stick and stay tight. I wasn't sure if my what kind of grip and like just don't die.
it.
Like I feel like that should be like a saying on a shirt for me. Just don't die.
Oh, it'd be funny. The so on the days like coming up to that competition, prep wise, obviously you were saying about the nutrition, you would prep quite far in advance for that. What recovery strategies would you use? Like because obviously coming up to the competition, it gets really really heavy. What do you do for recovery?
Well, it's definitely when I'm prepping like that, my nutrition is pretty on point. I'm really picky about my sleep schedule. I make sure that I meditate and I stretch and stuff every night, go to bed, get in my sleep. Really big about making sure that my like I'm getting enough sunlight, that and then I've got a massage therapist and an osteopath that I see. I see my osteo every week. My massage therapist is every 2 weeks. And then I love my hot baths. I cannot do cold baths, so I use ice. And really just paying attention to my body. And when it gets to that heavy of a prep, I've learned that sometimes the days off are better.
Mm-hmm.
So I know a lot of people will be like, oh, well, I'm not feeling that great, but I need to push and go to the gym anyways, because if you don't push in the gym, you're just giving up. No, sometimes your body's telling you you need to stay at home and sit on your ass. And I've learned that that's not being lazy. That's not, you feeling guilty, but you're really expecting a lot out of yourself during those last bits of prep. And if you're not listening to yourself and you're just constantly pushing, that's when injuries really start to happen.
Yeah. And how often a week do you train?
I try to do
Six?
six
Wow.
days a week.
Do you do it full time
Um,
as well? You coach as well, so do you do the coaching and like you're professional, full-time professional strong woman? Yeah.
yeah, so I do that six. I do coach. I have nutrition clients as well. I also own a cleaning company that I
Oh,
work during the days. When I'm not on prep, if I'm missing a day and stuff, that's not a big deal. My prep kind of changes with my son's prep for his competitive season for soccer.
yeah.
So I'm also at soccer 5 days a week with my son. But my prep, I have 2 days during training that are more like bodybuilding days.
Right.
So like my back and core days and my chest days. they're more conditioning and things like that. When I'm not on season, I'm not usually touching a lot of strongman implements either. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of giving my body a break. Also with my spine injury, I've learned that some weeks you may get 2 days if you're lucky. So I aim for 6. That doesn't always happen.
Oh my, I'm doing it all wrong. I need to be training 6 days a week too. I know, but no, everybody's different. Like every person is an individual and what suits them. I mean, like I work full time as a nurse, so I work 12-hour shifts. So I couldn't even fit. I can just about fit 4 days a weekend, never mind having to fit 6 days. But I don't know
Yeah.
how you fit the 6 days in if you're between working and your son and the football.
I have absolutely no idea how I do this as a single mom. I really don't. It bewilders me how I manage to find all of this time and I can schedule it and stuff. But I'm if I don't do it, nobody else is gonna do it.
Yeah, so you have to be hyper like organized and hyper efficient with your time.
And I've learned like a lot of people are all about balancing and stuff, but when you're a mom, balance doesn't mean that everything gets the same amount of effort. It means that sometimes my training takes precedence, sometimes my son's does, sometimes I forget everything.
Mhm.
So I have to learn that that's okay too, and
Yeah,
to just try to get done what I need to do. But I'm also super OCD. So like I need schedules and routines to kind of function. I need a routine for my chaos.
yeah. And do you do most of the cleaning yourself, or do you have like do you employ people in the business? Like you like as it, you're not so they define it as a business person or an entrepreneur. I can't even say it. An entrepreneur. Do you do you class yourself as an entrepreneur, or do you do the work mostly yourself?
Uh I tried to hire somebody when I was pregnant when I had my son, but oh, I think I might have some trust issues.
I'm the same. Yeah, we had a business, and I yes.
I have a lot of, keys and codes and a lot of trust for my clients. I've been doing this for 13 years.
Oh,
And I just when they're used to a certain level,
yeah. I know
then
it's finding
then
someone
I
who
want
fits your
and I
standard.
know them all very personally. I know how they like things and I really like to help people. So I could definitely hire people. I just that's a lot of work. I
And
have
then
2 children. I don't really want to, be the boss of adults either.
yeah, I it's hard enough, isn't it, looking after kids without having to look after
Yeah.
people who should be doing their job right anyway.
Exactly. And then, that falls back on you if they don't do it properly and your clients are unhappy. And I don't ever want my clients unhappy. I don't want them to come home and be upset in any way, shape, or form. So it's just not worth the risk to me, I guess.
Yeah. So do you find to be able to do everything that you want to do with a strong woman and all the traveling and then obviously the kids and bills, so you're working probably two, maybe three jobs if you're a coach as well as doing the cleaning and stuff.
Hmm.
And do you have any sponsors that like help financially, or do you have sponsors that help in different ways?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've got Mutant. Mutant is an amazing company. They're definitely huge for me for my supplements and stuff. And then I've got Cerberus that helps me with all of my gear. And Kratos, they do a lot of custom stuff for me, like my gym flag and all the and like my sports bras and things like that. I was really, really lucky this year for my traveling to Texas and to Worlds, a local company here, SRS Windows and Doors, helped me out. And then I had Beefcakes. It's another amazing restaurant here. I had a law office. Tim Henderson helped me out this year. And then I also had Boston Pizza. It's a restaurant back in my hometown. Helped me out this year too. So I'm really, really blessed and lucky. Yeah, I have a lot of great support in like behind me and backing me up. I definitely could not do any of this without them.
Aye. And then so how like if you is any is your so you've got a 13-year-old daughter and then your 9-year-old son, does any of the two of them get into like lifting weights in the gym, or is your son just all football mad?
My daughter used to. She actually did a couple competitions, but she wants nothing to do with the gym. It's just not. an interest to her in any way, shape, or form. My son is like a hit or miss because he's still so young. He does enjoy it,
Yeah.
but he doesn't stay with it for a very long time. And he does, I mean, like yesterday, he played an hour practice and then they did an hour fitness training afterwards.
Mm.
So he's got a lot of that incorporated. So he'll do like drills and stuff while I'm lifting. And then once in a while, he'll do some with me or he'll cheer me on. Uh, but it's not something that I think he wants to play video games with his friends.
Fortnite and all that crack.
Yeah.
I played a
So
game of
yeah,
Fortnite before it came on.
it's definitely not a huge thing in my family. Even like past my children, like my parents, my aunts, my uncles, my sisters, things like that. I'm the only lifter.
So getting on to your dancing, we were talking about your dancing. You are very, I would say you're very famous on TikTok. Would you be as well? Would you agree with that?
Oh, good old TikTok. Yeah, I wasn't expecting TikTok to blow up the way that it did.
What was your first video that blew up? What made you TikTok famous?
Oh, am I supposed to censor myself on this podcast?
No,
No
don't
kids.
have to.
So
I
I
don't.
did this.
I put it on YouTube that it's restricted to kids, so you should be all
Okay.
right.
So I'm very short. I'm only 5'1". And so when I do the laundry, once in a while, when I try to get the bottom stuff at the bottom of a washing machine, I fall in.
Okay.
So I found this really funny sound that was like a little kid going, "Oh gosh darn it. Oh god damn it." Right. And so I put that to this and I was bent over in the washing machine. My feet were hanging out and you could just see that part. I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
So I put it up on TikTok and then I put it on my Instagram. And one of my Instagram followers goes, "Holly, did you know that that's actually from a famous porn?"
No way.
I went, "Oh, no." And he goes, "Yeah, step brother, step sister." And I went,
Oh shit.
"That explains the comments on TikTok. I couldn't figure this out." And I was like, I'm not Googling this. But now I'm well aware of what friends of mine watch porn and what ones don't, because the ones
Yeah.
that do. So then my TikTok started just blowing up. And I was like, oh, what did I do? And I thought about taking it down, but it was kind of hilarious. So that started my TikTok journey.
It made it even more funny that you're so like you didn't know what the actual sound was, and you just it just
I had
fitted the.
no idea. I was like, you're kidding me. I did what? Leave it to me.
And whenever you says to your friends about it, what was their initial reaction whenever you were like, "Yeah, but how did you know what that sound was?"
I didn't really even ask anymore. Like if somebody made a comment about like a stepsister or something, I just knew.
uh,
I was just like, oh,
oh no
okay.
way. And everybody's scrolling through their TikTok right now just to see this video.
Oh, right.
So
And then yeah, I've done a few other skits that have gotten like a few million like views and hits and stuff. And they're just like I just find funny comedy skits and I guess people can relate.
yeah, but you know what? Like, sometimes sports can be so like some people in sports can be so like boring. So somebody with a personality like yourself showing it off in their sport can make it's a good thing.
Hopefully, I try to be like as real as possible. Everything that I'm like online about, I'm pretty much in person. I don't want, young kids looking at me thinking that like you have to be some perfectionist or something
Mhm.
like that, right? So I want to definitely incorporate the good and the bad. So I
Yeah,
hope it kind of comes out in my wonderful personality.
it does. It does. Um, so like, do you find that most people tend to watch the lifting ones of you, or do they watch like a different kind of video on TikTok? Like which ones kind
Um,
of hit it off the most?
I would definitely say the comedy ones, the ones that are more relatable to people, go off more, and then my stone videos.
Aye, but here, that one you done at OSG, fucking hell, that was some stone. That was That was so quick. I think you
That,
actually
yeah.
did that pull you up the ranks a wee bit, like from you for because Kate, no?
No, no, I was tied for second going into the stones.
Right.
And Kira loaded the stones 0.03 seconds quicker than me.
Right. And wow. Like that
Mhm.
was like your stone run was incredibly fast. I just watched it before it came on.
I I I could have went faster because I can one motion the first four of those stones, but I didn't know what my bicep would do.
Oh yeah, because you still had that
So
injury.
yeah, and I hadn't really done too much stones, and so and it was the last event. I knew I had them all, so I figured go slower, take your time, less chance maybe of that bicep really
Yeah.
getting pulled and stuff. Had I known obviously my bicep was good and it was going to hold out, I should have definitely gave it gun ho, but I'm happy with what I did. It
Yeah.
was cool.
Yeah. Um, going back as well and backtracking even again now. So you said something about whenever you started when you got into Strong Woman, all you wanted to be was thin, and skinny, like what most women are told they have to look like. So were you in a like obviously you're in a different mind frame then, but how did you change from wanting to be really skinny to wanting to be like just healthy, muscular, and just being yourself, basically?
Um, I'm definitely very open about my past and kind of all of the things I've endured and gone through when it comes to, drug addiction and things like that. And I was really broken and always trying to fill some void that was there. And because of weights, it started giving me the self confidence to then start that healing journey of really bringing out all of the things that I needed to heal.
Mhm.
And as you get to know yourself and you start healing those things, then, and you're lifting, it kind of just changes your mind frame around what the world wants you to be or what you think the world wants you to be, and undoing what has always been there.
Mhm.
So I ended up, I wouldn't say creating a new version of me. I was undoing a version that shouldn't have been there all along. And within that, which is a long process, then I learned to love myself as I was, however that took on form, or shape, or whatever. And then as I became knowledgeable with nutrition and things like that, and learned what food actually does for the body,
Yeah.
um, my body was no longer then what it needed to look like, but more so what it needed to do. I need to be able to be healthy enough for my children and take care of this and that requires food.
Yeah.
And so I think it brought on just the ability to learn instead of just seeing all these girls and thinking this certain way and oh well I want to look like this and and I was never small enough,
Mm.
right? Because that wasn't actually what I was trying to become. I was actually just lacking loving myself.
Yeah.
And because of the weights, it learned me to it definitely helped me to teach myself how to love myself just the way that I am, because I'm a pretty badass person.
Yeah. You definitely are.
So it's a long-winded answer, I guess.
No,
Knowledge and maybe some maturity.
aye, maturity does do a lot for women, but you're right, it's kind of like you're on training the brain from what you have learned growing up to training the
Hmm.
brain to the way, you know, instead of like doing what society says you have to do, just doing it for you and being
Yeah.
healthy.
And I mean, if skinny is what you want and it's healthy for you, great. And
Yeah.
if being, you know, uh, bigger is healthy and what you want it to be, great. I don't, everybody's body is very different and we all take on different shapes and sizes. And the only thing that I cared about was being happy.
Yeah.
And whatever that looked like on the outside, so be it. As long as I was happy within, then that was going to shine out.
Yeah. And I take it that's one of the reasons then you became a nutritional coach and like a strength coach too, then so that you can pass that knowledge on to your clients as well.
Yeah, I didn't realize just how much I didn't know
Hmm.
about food and all the things that your body can do. And I definitely, my job as a nutrition coach and a strength and conditioning coach isn't so then somebody needs me for the rest of their life. I want to educate them so then they know that knowledge themselves
Yeah.
and they can pass it on to the next person and things like that. And hopefully help somebody come to terms with that. And learning, just watching somebody slowly learn to love themselves is like the greatest gift in
Yeah,
the entire world. So
definitely.
I definitely, my big saying, I can't change the world, but if I could leave it just a little better than how I came into it, I'd be pretty happy.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you find like training and stuff, what do I say? What do I rephrase? So I like to, as a woman, I like to talk quite openly just about like periods and hormonal health and stuff. Because for I've had a bit of a traumatic past, and we'll not get into that, but um now that I do strong woman, I find like training around cycles and making, I always used to think like not having a period was better than having a period, if you know what I mean. So do
Mhm.
you does that make sense? Like for so long you would have rather went without because you thought you were
Yep.
healthier not having one, where in actual fact having a fucking period is the pinnacle of health. Um
Yep.
do you struggle, like would you struggle around like training and stuff with depending on the type of cycle or where you are in your cycle, or um how do you find?
Uh, well, yeah and no. I mean, I think the hardest part is mentally, because you would think after 35 years, when you're being an emotional bag, and you don't, because then all of a sudden your period comes and you're like, oh, that's why the last 3 days I've been nuts. I get it now. You think we'd catch on to this, right?
Yeah.
So that plays a big part into my training because I get very emotional. I get a little bit more. I don't I don't want to say that this is such the wrong word to use, but I get more girly. I get more sensitive, right? Like yeah, I hate that
Yeah.
word. That's an awful word to use. But um other than that, I mean, the bloating kind of sucks and weighs you down. I get really, really bad cramps that go into my spine and my back because of my scoliosis and stuff. So that can hinder me a bit. Yeah, I'll have to do maybe lighter workouts to at least get
Yeah.
everything kind of moving and stuff. I don't, my strength doesn't really change too much.
Mhm.
Like I mean, I'm sure the strength is always there, but mentally and emotionally, I'm not there to make it there. But
I
if
know
I
what you
have a
mean.
competition and my period's supposed to be around that time, that's not going to screw up my head because I know that I'm
Yeah.
just as strong. But there are, different things. I don't use birth control or anything like that. So I just kind of let it happen, listen to my body. When I'm on a really big deficit though, and I have to do a cut, my period goes away.
Yeah. But that's because you're kind of shocking the body a wee bit into what it's not used to.
Exactly. Yeah. So but and that's why I try to start my nutrition program so far out so that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Because any woman who is competing and you put them together with the same strength, one who's getting their period and one who's not, the one who's getting their period is going to be healthier.
Hmm.
And at the end of the day, longevity and healthy is obviously should be the
Yeah.
number one thing that people think of.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Another factor of that is, as you say, mental health. Whenever I started prepping for Ireland's Strongest Woman, one of the questions to my coach was, "Do you think?" I asked him like, "Do you think I need like a sports psychologist?" And we went backwards and forth, and he was like, "Well, why do you think you need one?" And I was like, "Well, this, and this," and he was like, "But," he says, have you been consistent? I said, well, I could probably make training a wee bit more consistent and nutrition a wee bit more consistent. And he was like, have you been missing meals? I was like, yeah, probably. So he says, we ended up saying, if for in order to you be at your best at that competition, then you need to make sure you're consistent, not miss a meal, not miss a training session. So when you go into that day, in the back of your head, you've done absolutely everything you can in the prep. So if you don't win or don't get top three, you can still say to yourself, "Well, I fucking did everything, and I powered through." I guess what I'm trying to say here is, do you have anybody or anything that helps with your mental health, or are you generally quite good with it because you? I know I'm just rambling on here now.
Oh, no, no, no. I
Uh,
was, I was, I was, the first answer popped in my head, which is what made me giggle. So I was waiting till you were done.
so yeah, do you have, yes, the long to the short of the question is, do you have somebody or something that helps you with your mental health?
Uh, I mean, I could pull the funny haha Holly answer, which is normally bourbon. I mean, but during prep, I don't drink. Unless it's like a holiday, I might have one, but I don't usually drink during prep. What helps with my mental health? I've always had a counselor because of my past.
Yeah,
It's not, I don't see her consistently. I kind of will go, consistently for a few months, maybe drop off a couple months, depending on what my life is
yeah,
like and things like that. But I always have that in the back there. I do have a lot of support with my family and my friends, and who are non-biased people, and they're not scared to tell me
yeah,
when I'm being an ass and when I need to check myself or things like that. I'm also really, really good at not making strongman my life.
yeah,
Strongman is a part of who I am, but it's not who I am. And so that also allows me to have other hobbies,
mhm,
other enjoyments, other things that fulfill me and my soul. So if for some reason I get hurt and I can't ever do strongman again, I have an entire life that's
yeah,
built not around it. And I think mentally that's really helped me. And learning that training and strongman's definitely really not everything. I mean, it's not the end of the world. Everybody's going to live on. You're going to live on. It's like it's if it won't matter in 5 years, it's probably not worth more than 5 minutes thinking of. And I kind of approach strongman the way that I do everything in my life. But I have, yeah, definitely a lot of people to always talk to.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I see one of your biggest supporters because he always, anytime I put anything up, he's the first person to comment or first person to like. What's he called? Andrew? Is it Gratos? I'm not even saying
Great.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yes, I
Is he?
love
Would
them.
he?
And it's a whole team
What
too.
was it? I thought it was like
Yeah.
just the one person. So is that the
Well,
gym he's trained at?
it is just Andrew. I mean,
Ah,
who controls like his social media, but there's an entire actually team of us.
yeah. And is he
So
like? Is he a friend or is he a coach or how do you know him?
I actually met him at my first OSG. We drank whiskey in the back after the events. Me, him, and Big Bad Santa. Oh, it was good whiskey too. And we definitely just clicked from there. I would consider him a friend.
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure I could go to him for anything and he'd always be there to support me. I mean, whether or not that's just listening to me or giving me advice or whatever. If he was around, a big old hug. So yeah, he's definitely very close. Love him to death. He's awesome.
Yeah. He's as I say, he's always first person to comment on anything I put up belonging to you. So I assumed he was like your coach or something, to be quite honest.
No, no, no. Sean Shoemaker is my coach.
Right.
He usually will like everything, but he usually, if he's commenting, it's probably to make fun of me.
I don't even know if I'm even following him or not, but I must have a look anyway. So where else? Where are we? Have we covered everything or is there anything left?
I don't even know what you were going to cover, so I can't even help
Yeah,
you.
I know. I'm just sitting anyway, I'm just sitting chatting to myself.
Sometimes that's the best though, just sitting and chatting and things come out.
sometimes sometimes why I look like I'm a deer caught in headlights is because sometimes I don't have questions wrote down because there's always questions that come up whenever you're talking to somebody. So you kind of just kind of go with the flow and have a general like if I just in case I get stuck question if I can't think of
Yeah.
anything. But everything I've wrote down here I think we've hit on. Oh that's there. There we go. So your or what competitions are you going to do in 2023? What are you
Mm.
prepping for right now?
I was supposed to have the Arnold Pro in March,
Are
but
you not doing it?
my invite was revoked.
Why? Can you
Uh,
talk about it? Why?
uh,
Like fuck me, you're the Arnold fucking world champ. How can you get
yeah,
your invite revoked?
because I'm a lightweight.
Because you're not a lightweight.
No, because I am a lightweight.
Because you are a lightweight.
Yeah, so Rogue took over halfway through the season, and they had told Strongman Corp that they would in fact honor the middleweight and the heavyweight invite, but they would have to see about the lightweight invite. Nobody had told me. I had emailed Jan, Todd, and Steve about it, and they would not answer. And then they put up the roster of the women, and I was not on it. And then they had sent out an email to the athletes that were competing, stating pretty much that lightweight men and women will never be part of the show. So I did. So I don't get to compete.
That's mad. Some of the lightweight women are pulling bigger numbers than nearly some of the heavyweight, like the open women.
Well, and most of us lightweight women sit as middleweight women.
Yeah.
So if we don't have to cut down, and I was planning on putting on some of that weight to see what my body could do, to see what I could produce and stuff. I'm not going to do that for just any show, but I mean, the Arnold is prestige.
Yeah.
Rogue is a big deal, and they're doing amazing things for the competition. I mean, they're putting out the biggest, prize money that women have ever seen, and the women that are competing, all amazing women. So it would have been an honor to do that. But the lightweight women, if you don't give us a chance, how are you ever going to see what we're capable of?
Hey, they might end up shooting themselves in the fucking back with that one.
It caused an uproar that I wasn't prepared for. I stayed really quiet about the whole thing. And so when it was put up and the roster was put up, my social media blew up with support. And I was like, whoa, people noticed. And so, yeah, it was definitely a big thing. But so other than that, now I've got a longer off season, which, maybe might be better for the body. Take it as the positive, right? It allows me to focus on different things.
Yeah.
I'll have qualifications for Strongest Woman in Canada. And then hopefully Clash. I haven't heard anything about the U64 Clash yet.
Yeah, because they're doing the is it the under 80? It's either the 90s or the under 82s is in the next few weeks, I think.
Yeah, I think it's the U82s. And then, so I can't remember. There's so many weight classes now. I can't figure it out. So hopefully maybe that I'm prepping for, the 2 world records in August. That is a really big one for me because the proceeds go to help a little girl fighting cancer. Oh. So it's a maybe a heartwarming heart tug thing being a parent. So I want to definitely prep as much as I can to help that little girl. And then worlds back to OSG.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you're right then. Like not having the Arnolds probably will benefit you more then so that you can focus on pulling the world records.
I've got lots. It's just later on in the year, which is definitely different for me, but probably a lot better, especially because of my spine and my bicep and things like that. And it gives me a little bit more time to focus on my son and all of his competitions that are going to cost a lot too.
You're going to have to start getting that boy sponsors.
oh my gosh. Oh boy, I'm gonna have to do something. Like I thought about maybe like trying to like find a man, but that's it doesn't work.
Yeah, sometimes hard. Good working, nice men are sometimes hard to come by.
yeah. My picker's broken, so like that's just not gonna happen.
I'm saying this, and I have a good. To be fair, I have a good man downstairs. So if he's listening to this later on, yes, you are a good man. I have fine man.
They do exist. They all are. They are out there. I just none that I happen to be attracted to.
Well, you may put that wee fella to work. I know they say about child labor, but if you pay him a good enough wage, it's not child labor then.
Right?
Yeah.
Maybe this could work. They do work around the house.
Yeah. But then you need the wage. His wage needs to be coming from somewhere other than mommy's pocket.
Yeah, I can't listen. I can't afford to pay somebody else's wage. Especially my own kids when I'm already paying for everything else for them.
Get them into you don't own the gym that you coach at, do you?
No, I don't.
Get them to employ him to go around and clean the dumbbells and all. And I'm sure he'd be happy with a $5 a day. It'll help.
Right. I told him, I said, when you become a famous soccer player or like an engineer, because he's like my, I don't know how he turned into an athlete, because I was pretty sure he was going to be like my star, like doctor or something, super smart kid. So I'm like, when you get rich in either one of these, I'm quitting my job and I'm living with you.
Or he could be a famous Fortniter. They get paid a lot of money if they're really,
Oh
really
God,
good.
he had it in his head that he was going to be this big YouTuber. And I'm like, no, no, we need to bigger goals, bigger
Yeah.
dreams. And now I realize how much people make from YouTube and TikTok and other things. I'm like, maybe he had it right.
Do you make any money from the TikTok?
You not in Canada.
Really?
I guess you can, but not
Yeah.
the same way that you can in the States.
Ah,
And I mean, you have to go live. You have to be quite creative and pretty involved in it.
all
And
right.
I'm one of those big people with like cutting off social media sometimes completely,
Yeah.
because I invest in my life itself, and I find that sometimes if you intertwine them just too much, it's not good.
Yeah.
And
You
so I
lose
don't
sleep
think that.
over it.
Yeah, so like I don't think that I'd be very good if I just disappeared for like a week and was like, oh, by the way, see you later.
Yeah. Um, right. I think that actually does sum up pretty much everything. Have you anything else that you want to chat about?
Well, I'm a chatter. I could probably chat forever in a day, but no. I'm okay.
Um, I'm just trying to make sure before I go off that I have everything. There's nothing else I've wrote down in any Miller books. But did I grab this book? Let's see if there's anything that's. I always like to go over sometimes other questions that I've asked people in the past because some of them are really good questions and you forget about them. You forget what you've asked, but I don't see anything else that's. Well, I think we have covered everything, Mrs. Thank you. Well, actually, do you know what? Like that's nearly an hour we've been on, so that's actually a good time.
Yeah.
Thank you, Holly, very much for taking the time out to come and chat to me today. Hopefully get you on again then next year. Whenever you've got the under 64 world strongest woman title. I see that
Well,
coming.
I don't know if it'll be this year, but like, okay.
Aim big.
If I get it, I will specifically say it was only so I could come back on her podcast.
Well, have a nice day and
You
enjoy the rest
too.
of your Sunday.
Awesome. You too.
Thank you very much.